5 News Now presents Storm Prep 2026 with your first warned storm team. Chief Meteorologist Maclovio Perez, Meteorologist Trey Mining, Meteorologist Parker Cox, and Meteorologist Jacob Lozano. Storm Prep 2026.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Storm Prep 2026. Each year before the start of the hurricane season, we take a little time to talk over the predictions, the preparations, everything you need to know before the storm arrives. So, join us for the next 30 minutes as we discuss what you need to know to be ready for the upcoming hurricane season. Now, last year, 2025, was a very quiet year. We had 5 hurricanes, 13 named storms, but no hurricane hit the U.S. mainland. What about this year? Will we be so lucky? Well, we sent meteorologist Jacob Lozano out to find out what the forecasters are saying about the upcoming hurricane season.
On average, we see about 14 named storms and 7 hurricanes in the Atlantic. This year, forecasts are a bit lower. Around 12 to 13 named storms are what's being forecasted, and 6 of which may become hurricanes. So what does a below average season actually mean? And more importantly, what does it mean for us in the crossroads?
Tropical systems need a few ingredients to form: warm ocean water, a disturbance, and favorable atmospheric conditions. But one factor can make or break development: vertical wind shear. Wind shear is the change in wind speed or direction with height in the atmosphere. When shear is weak, tropical cyclones can stay vertically stacked and strengthen. But when it's strong, it tilts the storm and strips away heat and moisture from the center, disrupting development. This year, climate patterns suggest increased wind shear may develop due to El Niño, a warming of Pacific waters near South America. That shifts the jet stream and typically increases upper-level winds over the Atlantic, which can suppress storm formation. El Niño isn't the only factor. Warm Atlantic waters, Saharan dust, and steering patterns all play a role in how active the season becomes. And here's the key point: seasonal forecasts don't tell us where storms will go. It only takes one storm in the Gulf to bring significant impacts to South Texas. Even weaker systems can produce heavy rain, flooding, and strong winds far inland across the crossroads. In 2015, during a strong El Niño year, Tropical Storm Bill still made landfall and moved through Victoria. This event brought widespread rainfall and flooding conditions near Houston. And even in 2002, El Niño conditions didn't prevent major impacts. Hurricane Lily entered the Gulf as a Cat 4 and made landfall in Louisiana as a Category 1.
And while the Atlantic season begins in June, the peak activity doesn't arrive until later, typically from August through October. So even if this season ends up quieter overall, the risk is never zero, and it only takes one storm to make it an active season for us. Now is the time to review your hurricane plan, check your supplies, and make sure you're ready before anything develops in the Gulf.
During the tropical storm season, you hear a lot about the Saffir-Simpson scale. So what is that all about, and what does it mean? Well, in our next segment, meteorologist Parker Cox will be taking a really close look at the Saffir-Simpson scale and what it means to you during the tropical storm season. We'll be right back.
Storm Prep 2026 is made possible by the support of our sponsors: Jag Metals, Wind Surfaces, Full Pep, El Campo Cycle Center, Palace Bingo, AEP, Solitaire Homes.
When hurricane season arrives, it is necessary to know that not every storm is going to destroy homes and threaten lives. We have a system called the Saffir-Simpson scale, which gives you some indication of the strength or weakness of a particular tropical storm. So we sent Parker Cox, our meteorologist, to check on the Saffir-Simpson scale and to explain it.
When a meteorologist says a tropical system has formed, people tend to panic, but not every system is created equal. I'm meteorologist Parker Cox, and this is a breakdown of the Saffir-Simpson scale. But first, a reality check. Any tropical system, even a weak one, can dump rain and spin up tornadoes, and that usually depends more on where the storm goes and how fast it moves than the category itself. But we start off the Saffir-Simpson scale with the tropical depression. Sustained winds will generally be 38 miles an hour or less, so minimal storm surge, very little to no wind damage, but flooding and tornadoes are still a concern. A tropical storm is the most common tropical cyclone to form in the Atlantic Basin, and tropical storms have sustained winds between 39 and 73 miles an hour. With this, we could see a similar 1 to 3 foot high storm surge, minor damage like loose shingles, flying debris, but again, flooding and tornadoes can be the bigger issue. But then we get into the hurricane categories. When a Category 1 forms, concern increases. Winds are sustained between 74 and 95, and this can bring a storm surge between 3 to 4 feet. We would likely see roof and siding damage, downed trees, and scattered power outages. The storm becomes a Category 2 hurricane with sustained winds between 96 and 110. This can create a 5 to 8 foot storm surge and more widespread damage. Expect broken windows, more trees down, and longer outages. Then comes the major hurricanes. A Category 3 hurricane causes serious damage with winds between 111 to 129 miles an hour. A 9 to 12 foot storm surge will cause coastal flooding, and power lines will be snapped and roads likely blocked by debris. There is extreme danger with a Category 4 hurricane where sustained winds reach 130 to 156 miles an hour. This storm will bring major storm surge, long-term power outages, and homes will be heavily impacted. But then comes the catastrophic Category 5, which has wind speeds above 157 miles an hour, causing storm surge levels well over 18 feet. At this point, homes will be destroyed, there will be widespread flooding, and entire areas left unrecognizable. Now, the bottom line is don't panic at the first talk of a system, but don't ignore it either. The category matters, but impacts can happen at any level.
If a tropical storm were to arrive, you know that we would have to be ready for a lot of wind and a lot of rain. So what is the city of Victoria doing now to get ready for that possibility? In our next segment, we'll be talking about preparations the city and maybe you can take now before the storm arrives. We'll be right back.
Storm Prep 2026 is made possible by the support of our sponsors: Jag Metals, Wind Surfaces, Full Pep, El Campo Cycle Center, Palace Bingo, AEP, Solitaire Homes.
Long-term residents know that the time to prepare for a tropical storm is now, not when the storm arrives. So what do we need to do now during the preseason? KVU's Amaya Norman talks about what the city of Victoria is doing to prepare and maybe what you should be thinking about here while we have some time.
The city of Victoria are preparing for increasing flood risk this season.
As storm season is ramping up, crews across Victoria are working to keep these drainage systems clear from debris so when heavy rain comes, it doesn't flood the roadway.
We plan for periodic rainstorms throughout the year. So, I mean, that's, we street sweep on a regular basis. We also take care of our drainage ditches.
The city manager says it's important for residents to keep leaves, trash, and yard debris away from the storm drains because even small blockages can lead to flooded streets. Officials also encourage people to report drains covered with mud or debris so crews can respond quickly.
One of the kind of big things that we try and encourage throughout the year is for people not to sweep or blow their leaves out of their yard or their grass trimmings and stuff into the street. You may see, you may be driving through town and you see a landscaper blowing stuff into the street. If a city personnel sees them, they should be stopping and asking them not to, because that all ends up in the storm drain. And we see a lot of our issues that in some of the neighborhoods is caused by those storm drains being clogged up. So, it's not just all on the city. We need the public to take part, especially if you're in an area that's curb and gutter, because anything that's in the street is going to flow down to that gutter. And if it clogs up, the water's going to take longer to drain.
Emergency management officials are also reminding drivers to follow the Turn Around and Don't Drown campaign and avoid flooded roadways during the heavy rain.
We have to remind ourselves that aerial flooding is a real thing, and the biggest thing is we want people to really hone in on is the Turn Around, Don't Drown campaign. Making sure that as they come across flooded roadways, that they turn around, don't drown. We don't go around barricades. We try to avoid the low water crossings, and we try to avoid the areas that are going to be that don't drain very well.
The emergency management team says they have been preparing year-round for storm season through shelter planning, emergency response efforts, and community outreach. They also encourage residents to review the insurance coverage and have an emergency plan ready before the next storms hit.
I think the biggest message we need to remind everybody is you, the individual citizen, have got to be the first responder in your own home. You are the person that is in charge of your health and safety when it comes to an immediate need.
City officials say storm preparation is a community effort, and by keeping drains clear and staying off flooded roadways, residents can help keep themselves and keep others safe this storm season. Amaya Norman, KAVU TV 25 News Now.
Other officials around the region are also putting their brains together right now to plan for the upcoming hurricane season. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke to some of those officials to understand what the process is all about.
Electricity is what keeps residents running. So AEP's main goal throughout this hurricane season is to make sure residents have reliable electricity. To prepare for any storms, AEP is working with Office of Emergency Management officials to create a hurricane scenario and test their equipment.
We say two things at AEP Texas: safety first and customer first. So when those contractors come in and they learn about our business and how we operate, we trust them and we expect them to work safely, but also work as quickly as possible because they know people are depending on us.
Drones are some of the equipment tested. At the AEP conference, officials demonstrated 2 drones, a small drone for inspecting hard-to-reach areas and possibly drop supplies, and a larger drone to look at broader areas of damage. The drones AEP uses can also track real-time data to assess the damage of a power line and can communicate with people if they're stranded.
It feels great to be able to help people with these drones to enhance our quality of power, our restoration times. The resources that we have with these, I mean, it's a tremendous resource. It provides us a way that we never had before to give our community, just better quality of power and more information in real time.
AEP wants residents to know that they're supported as AEP partners with other agencies to restore their power. Hurricane season begins June 1st and ends November 30th, with the peak season being in September. Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
Coming up on the next segment of Storm Prep 2026, I speak to a researcher who's installing sensors up and down the Gulf Coast, which will help us know when the flood arrives, maybe even predict when the flood will arrive. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Storm Prep 2026 is made possible by the support of our sponsors: Jag Metals, Went Surfaces, Full Pep, El Campo Cycle Center, Palace Bingo, AEP, Solitaire Homes.
We now know that the path of the eye of the hurricane makes a big difference on where the damage is going to be. We have the strong side of the storm, and then we have the backside or the weak side of the storm. I recently went and visited in Rockport with a storm researcher who's trying to install sensors that will better predict where the water will be rising. Dr. Philippe Tissot is a researcher at the Conrad Blucher Institute at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. He is the director of the Coastal Dynamics Laboratory. As you can see, he really gets into his work. A few years ago, he was grant funded by the National Science Foundation's AI Institute for a project that hopefully will become a Texas standard.
Up until 2016, 2017, when I was talking about sea level rise, nobody cared that much. But now it's getting higher and higher. And so now there's spots that are becoming, it's not catastrophic, but there's spots that are getting more and more flooded. And we wanted to, okay, what's the technology? How can we help predict it, measure it? Because we're going to have to live with more flooding.
His project includes designing a system for real-time sensors along the Gulf Coast that will provide instant information. This one is located at Cove Harbor in Rockport and is already live.
So we get the measurement there, so they can have real-time measurements. In Calhoun County, where those sensors have been in operation for more time, the county judge has the app and used it during a hurricane. He found out about 30, 40 minutes ahead of time that the hurricane was not coming for him. He found out because he could see the water levels dropping. So he knew that the eye was north. And so he knew that there was not going to be a big inundation there. And so he could start planning ahead of time.
Right now, in the testing phase, these sensors are accessible to local governments. But if you are interested in the information, you can go to HOHONU.io and search for Cove Harbor, Texas.
What I'm looking for this hurricane season is a tropical storm that causes very little damage, gives me good data, and fills in our freshwater lakes. That's what I want.
The hope is that Dr. Tissot can design a reliable system that anybody can use, whether it's government along the Texas coast for hurricanes or inland areas that are worried about rivers and flash floods. When we come back with Storm Prep 2026, Trey Mining will be taking a look at some new technology that hopefully will help improve the hurricane forecast.
Storm Prep 2026 is made possible by the support of our sponsors: Jag Metals, Wind Surfaces, Full Pep, El Campo Cycle Center, Palace Bingo, AEP, Solitaire Homes.
Welcome back, everybody, to Storm Prep 2026. A couple of weeks ago, meteorologist Trey Mining and I got to visit with the National Weather Service and see some new equipment, some new technology that they have to help in forecasting. Well, this new technology gets us a much closer look inside a severe thunderstorm, and it helps us predict what's going to happen to us here on the ground. Here we are in Corpus Christi at the National Weather Service out here at Corpus Christi Airport, and we're going to go see what is going on new in the world of forecasting.
And we're looking at some simulated situations where warnings were issued, but how would we react to that? How can we bring this information back home to you? We'll find out here shortly.
Meteorologists Parker Cox and Jacob Lozano also attended the warning simulation training. Each one of us trained on the warning software by using a past severe weather event that occurred a year ago.
Yeah, the idea of this is to give everyone a better understanding of the process here, and we can draw polygons to narrow down the specific regions that are going to be impacted so that only those under a threat of severe weather are actually going to be in the path and alerted.
During the training, the operator had to keep his eyes on the radar and had to look for severe weather signs such as a rotation inside a thunderstorm, large hail, heavy rainfall, and damaging winds. Once one of these was apparent, the operator placed a point on the exact spot to where the weather event was occurring, and then to draw a polygon in the direction of movement. Then write the warning text and send it out.
So the end goal is to try to get a better understanding from the media, the 25 News Now Storm team, and our other partners and how the process works, and that hopefully in the end we can better save lives.
This exercise gave us a better insight on how warnings are issued. Us as 25 News Now meteorologists can use this experience when the time comes to relay warnings to you, the viewer. While technology changes almost as fast as weather does, our goal remains the same, to keep our viewers informed and safe.
For more information on hurricane season, go to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Thank you for joining us on this year's Storm Prep 2026. We hope you found the information useful. And don't forget to pick up one of our hurricane tracking guides. They're available at local vendors. It has a lot of important information and important phone numbers that will come in handy in case a storm arrives. And like the old expression says, plan for the worst and just hope for the best, especially in storm season 2026. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maclovio Perez, 25 News Now for Storm Prep 2026.